Welcome to a very special podcast, which is either called Breaking Backwards or Backwards Bad, and we have
I
not
haven't
come
decided on it
we
yet.
have not come to a conclusion on that. But the premise is that my dear friend Nada has
Hello?
decided to do something that is criminal and bad and insulting to the very nature of TV, and I hate him.
Yes, very.
He's decided to watch Breaking Bad from the final episode and backwards all the way to the first episode.
Yeah,
And we just watched the finale of Breaking Bad.
yeah. My first episode.
My fucking, like, the best television show ever created. And Nada has just decided, spoilers be damned, watch the final fucking episode. And it's the most infuriating thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But I encourage it. Because I've
No
never
one
heard
else
of...
is.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be able to have an opportunity like this for any other show, except for like Game of Thrones. But I already watched the first season, so
Right, like...
too late for that.
Like, if you haven't seen Breaking Bad before, please watch it from episode 1, and don't be listening to this podcast, because there's spoilers in this one. But, I mean, you only have one chance to watch a TV show, and you only have one chance to watch it wrong. So, so here we are. I am, Ryu.
Great.
Yeah, and
And
I have
I
seen,
am Nada.
I have seen Breaking Bad before. I've seen every episode twice, and this is my third watch. First time watching it backwards.
This is I'm not a. I made those stupid, funny Samurai Jack SpongeBob videos.
You may know Nada from his You Know Nada YouTube channel, where he makes funny Samurai Jack lip syncs, and
Yeah.
you may not know me at all. You don't know me,
Yeah, they know.
but
me,
you
they-
will. Yeah, this is we Nada and I have actually been working on a lot of things together, and this is the first thing that you're going to see that features me in it. But I'm a longtime friend of Nada, and this is probably the dumbest thing I've ever seen him do.
Yeah. I felt like it.
And
I
Nada's
like-
very dumb, so that's that's saying something. I want to ask, what did you know about Breaking Bad before watching this episode?
I know. Bryan Cranston is Walter White, who is a teacher. Probably not. He works with his partner Jesse, who might be his son. I don't know that yet. There's something I just watched finale and I already don't know something. But
Yeah. Oh, you just watched the finale, and there's already one thing that you don't know. Is Jesse Walter's son?
he said that he was about to turn 18, so maybe. I know that they both started working on meth together.
Now, yeah. So Walter said that his son was was about to turn 18. He said that at one point in the episode.
Yeah,
And
I know Walter goes through some shit. I don't know what he went through, but according to this episode, he's been through a lot of shit with a lot of people.
So what do you think Breaking Bad is about, based on this episode that you've seen?
I think it's about Walter.
Oh,
And-
you pieced that one
Well-
together, did you?
I mean, obviously. I think it's about Walter, who, it's particularly about Walter and Jesse, although Jesse doesn't really play. Well, Jesse doesn't appear until the end of the episode, but it's probably going to be about Walter and his relationship with all these people, and he betrays them. He betrays everybody at some point, I think. And, probably because he's addicted to this meth thing. He's addicted to selling it, and he has a lot of money from it.
Wait,
I think.
do you think he's addicted to meth, though?
You know what? No, he doesn't seem like it. But he's addicted to making it, I think.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to describe him. How would you describe Walter White? What do you think he's like as a person?
He is selfish. He's very selfish. I can just tell from that. He betrayed everybody for his own selfish reasons.
Turns out you don't need to watch Breaking Bad because you got it. You got the heart of the show right there.
Oh, he's very selfish.
That's it. That's Breaking Bad. That's a wrap.
Good night, everybody. Okay.
But do you think he's a violent person?
Well, kind of, because I mean he did kill all those guys in a really creative way.
Well, that shows that he's smart.
He is smart. He is very intelligent. He's a very smart man, very selfish, but I think he also cares about Jesse.
Okay, and who is Jesse is potentially Walter White's son. How would you describe Jesse?
Jesse, well, I've only seen, like, how many lines does he have in this episode? Like 5?
Okay, he says, do it yourself, and he laughs. Those are his 2 lines in this episode. But...
Well, say it! I want you to say it!
Right. What do you think he was like before before Breaking Bad took place? What do you think he was like at the start of in episode 1?
I think he was, he probably looked up to Walter a lot. He probably respected him? Or maybe he hated him, but then eventually started to respect him and love him as the series goes on. Because that's sort of what the series is about, Walter's relationship with Jesse. I mean, I know I just said it's about Walter betraying everybody else, but it's especially important about Walter and Jesse.
Okay, so that's how they start out and maybe develop through the series, but where are they at in this final episode? What's the relationship like?
Jesse hates Walter. Walter loves Jesse. Walter regrets what he did to Jesse, whatever it was. He probably sold him to that Jack guy. Or maybe Jesse went himself, or maybe Walter betrayed Jesse, and so Jesse went to the Jack guy, and so he just basically became a slave there. Although, I bet Walter had something to do with that.
Yeah, well, there was a line that was said right at the start of the Jack scene, and I'm just going to jump forward to that scene, even though we're going to do a recap later. But Jesse says to Jack, you were supposed to kill him, and instead you made him your partner.
That's true! Oh, I forgot about that line. Okay. You were supposed to kill him, so Walter, you know, I still don't, even though Walter seemed to want Jesse dead, I still don't think that he hates Jesse at that point.
Yeah, you can love someone. You can love someone and just, want them to be dead in the ground. Fucking.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about you, especially when you told me that you were going to watch Breaking Bad in this manner. But the Hitmen, I've called them off because I realized that I could be a part of this and capitalize on your horrible crime.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Is there anything you want to say before we just jump into the recap?
I think Walter probably there was a point where Walter was really angry at Jesse. Maybe Jesse betrayed him, and so Walter asked Jack to kill him, and instead he made him his meth slave or something.
His meth slave, his little meth slave.
I mean, what else do you call it? He's like chained up?
That's what you call it. It's just the calling him meth slave. I don't know. It just gives me this like mental image that Jack's like ringing a bell. Oh, meth slave! And Jesse comes over and hands him a tray of meth. Yeah, that's. But meth slave's a good description for what is actually happening.
All right.
So the episode opens with Walter in a frozen car. So, I mean, do you know where he was or why he was there?
He was in the desert. No, he wasn't. Desert. Fucking ass. Okay, no.
You dumb fucking shit. He wasn't in the desert. There was snow. God, what was I thinking?
Okay, I think he was in Alaska, because I remember they mentioned Alaska at one point.
Okay, point for Nada. He was in Alaska. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Alaska. He was doing something. He probably killed somebody, and there was a bunch of cops around. So he did something bad. Cops are there. He plays a song that alludes to his death. And then
wait, really? Hang on, I didn't catch that. What was the song?
I don't know, but I heard I think the song starts out with talking about a gunshot or something.
Oh yeah, well okay, yeah. I mean that's definitely something that the Breaking Bad writers would do. I just happened to miss that particular detail. Yeah. Walter's sitting in the car, and then there's the flashing red and blue lights of a police car, and they pass by, and Walter is relieved, and then he starts up his car and drives away.
Yeah. Got away, and then he drives over to the desert area.
Right, and this is where Nada sees the opening sequence for the very first time. And yeah. I wouldn't ordinarily take note of this, on a regular show, but fans of the show will recall that as the credits appear in every episode, there's an element in their name that's highlighted in green, just as a cool little font. And here we are in the finale of Walter's journey, and Nada just starts giggling because he's amused by these little green letters that he's never seen before. And it sent a pound of blood to the veins in my forehead. And that was the first moment I really realized and accepted that what we were doing is a sin against nature.
I mean, okay, the opening, I think I've probably seen the opening a few times before. It's a pretty famous opening, but the credits are just see, it's not just that the letters are green, but they're also capitalized in the middle of the name. It just looks so funny.
No, I understand that. It's a cute little thing to have, but the fact that all the weight that's put into this final episode, that God, that you just start giggling as everything's happening, and then the next thing I hear you say is, "Well, I didn't know you had hair." And that wasn't even the funniest, remark that you made during this scene. Because in this scene, Walter goes to a gas station and he starts filling up his car. And during this scene, as the gas is spilling, Walter starts coughing. And then I hear Nada say, "Is he drinking gas?"
No, because he, took the hose to his mouth or something, did he?
Well, I mean, he starts coughing, and, there's a reason he's coughing, but you assume that he was choking on gasoline.
Because he had, the hose near his mouth, and, and he starts coughing. I think if I drank gasoline, I'd probably...
Right.
Yeah, no. He is! He's drinking gasoline!
He's not drinking gasoline, there's no fucking way.
Is that water? What's in that hose? He literally takes the stuff that's in that liquid to his mouth. He's drinking it.
Okay. Well, maybe Walter White is a robot, and that was just kind of a plot line that they didn't fully explore. But I'm going to assume that he doesn't run on gas, and that he was actually coughing because of another reason that maybe you don't realize.
He's on meth?
Yeah, no. Well, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know much about the series. I watched the finale. That's all I saw.
So the next scene is Walter breaking into the home of Elliot and Gretchen Schwartz. Do you know who these two are?
No idea. I know Elliot works for the New York Times.
You are incorrect. He does not work for the New York Times.
Oh, wait. Walter was posing as somebody else working for the New York Times.
Okay. Yeah, there's probably a reference to the New York Times, but I wouldn't put too much thought on that.
Well, okay, yeah. He breaks through the house pretty easily. I guess they thought they were safe in their big, rich, fancy mansion.
So yeah, things that you should be able to extrapolate from this are that Elliot and Gretchen are rich, and that they have some sort of relationship with Walter.
Definitely. Everybody he's involved with has had some long-term relationship, and I think Walter has betrayed every single character that was in this episode, except for his daughter, who's
except
1 year old.
Right. So Walter says that he saw them speaking on Charlie Rose, and then
Yeah.
Elliot approaches Walter with a knife, but then decides to drop it. And immediately after, they start piling a large pile of drug money into their living room, and Walter instructs the couple to gift the money to his family.
Yes. I feel like this whole episode was also about how Walter probably realized, probably during the final season, that him being selfish, a selfish asshole, is a bad thing. And so he starts to, and so he knows that he's about to die or something. So he decides to do all he can to help his son, who might be Jesse, and his whole family. Well, maybe not his whole family, but he wants all of them to have the money that he needs, and he can't do it himself, so he relies on these two rich couple, Gretchen and Elliot.
Yep, those are their names.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when they ask him why doesn't just give the money to them himself, he says that it's because his family hates him.
Yes, his family hates him. Everybody hates him. He hates him.
I hate him. Yeah, he also says the line, "My children are a blameless victim of their monstrous father." And I wanted to know if at this point, like before he had said that, did you think that that was the case? Did you think that Walter White was going to be this public monster?
I had a feeling. I'm pretty sure I knew that Walter, probably did some bad things before I started watching. And if it's going to be like that, then his family is probably going to be involved somehow. And he's, I don't think I fully expected that he would be regarded as such a monster to everybody. Yeah. But I feel like that's not particularly surprising to me.
Right. But what was surprising to you, because you actually shouted, "What the hell," when it happened, is that Walter, to assure that his children get the money, he has these red dot sight lines shine into the window and threaten to shoot Elliot and Gretchen. And
yeah,
you were very surprised by that, and I was amused by it, because I was also very shocked when I saw that the first time.
Because I thought, see, I don't know Walter. Yeah. When I saw this scene for the first time, it's like, I feel like Walter did some really bad shit to everyone around him, including his family, who also got involved into some shit like this. Like maybe his son turned into a Met slave or something. And so when he's just giving this money to these rich people, it looked like an act of selflessness, an act of that he's trying to redeem himself and actually help his family in some way, help his son. And then these freaking hitmen come out of nowhere to start sniping these two. And it's like, whoa!
Yeah, Walter says that it was the best hitmen that side of the Mississippi or something. Basically that they were very, very experienced hitmen who were going to take out Gretchen and Elliot if they tried anything.
Yeah. And then they just turn out to be just a couple guys with just a couple laser pointers, and they just...
I was wondering if you had picked up on that. I wondered if watching that you realized that they were not the hitmen that Walter was bragging about.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the scene immediately after they give him back the frickin' laser pointers, and then he gives them money. They didn't like doing that, but they did it.
So, who do you think those two were?
I feel like they're probably really minor characters who they probably appear in every season, but just not that important or anything.
Yeah, that's pretty. You pretty much hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, they probably just they're just Walt's Met slaves. They just do things for him if they want.
Just in case someone is listening to this and does not know who we're talking about, just to refresh you, these characters are named Badger and Skinny Pete. They don't mention their names, so this is the first time Nada's hearing that. But if you don't know who we're talking about Badger and Skinny Pete right now.
Badger and Skinny Pete.
Yeah. Badger and Stinky Pete. And they take some money from Walter, and they then ask him if he's cooking again because his signature meth is back on the streets. And when Walter says that it wasn't him, they conclude that it must be Jesse. And immediately after, we get a shot of Jesse doing some nice, pleasant woodworking, which smash cuts into a different, darker shot of a sad, bearded Jesse chained up in a meth lab cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the very, very first time that Nada sees Jesse.
Yes.
Did you know that Jesse was a part of the show before watching this episode?
Yeah, I knew that Walt and Jesse were like the two main characters, and I know I've seen GIFs of it, of where they're fighting over the toilet.
No, I'll do this show with you, but you have to call them GIFs.
I have seen the graphically interchanging formatted image of them fighting over the toilet. It's very funny.
Yeah. In the very next scene, Walter is eating a plate of bacon and eggs, and he arranges the bacon into the shape of the number 52. And then he tells the waitress that today is his birthday.
Yeah, it must be his 52nd birthday.
Oh, you pieced together the puzzle. I was wondering. Because a traditional forward viewer of Breaking Bad would be privy to that sort of knowledge. There's a whole thing about this number in the plates. But you were able to crack the code regardless.
Does number 52 ever come up again, like later in the series? Or
no. Don't think about the number 52. It's just the fact that a number appearing in bacon is a signature symbol of Breaking Bad.
In bacon.
In bacon, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I want to take if you're going to remember something, remember Walter just getting this plate of bacon at a restaurant and snapping the bacon and arranging it for himself. So Walter, he is next seen putting a bag in his trunk. And then he pulls something out from a power outlet. Do you remember that? Him unscrewing the outlet?
Yeah, he pulled out a note, it looked like? I forgot what... Yeah, I thought it was like a note or something.
Yeah, I can...
Hidden... Oh, that must be where the... Oh, that's where the ticket is. That had the GPS coordinates on it. That must be it.
The ticket, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm just like jumping ahead of the frickin' recap. But...
No. I'm glad you're doing this. I'm just wondering how much I want to tell you and how much I want you to discover for yourself. And I've decided that I want you to discover everything for yourself. So I'll just move on and say that he walks through a torn-up house, and the word... Well, do you remember the word that's sprayed on the wall?
Heisenberg.
Right. What is Heisenberg?
I've heard that word before in regard to the show. I thought that was the last name of Jesse, like Jesse Heisenberg, but
I thought it was Jesse White.
Yeah, I thought it was Jesse Pinkman. Isn't that what they said it later?
All right, so okay, yeah, well, yeah, it's potentially the last name of Jesse White Pinkman Heisenberg.
Yeah, and not all related to Jesse Eisenberg that I'm just thinking in my head.
Yeah. Okay.
Jesse Eisenberg has nothing to do with the show. But I've heard Heisenberg before. I don't know what it is.
Do you know where he was in this scene?
I am going to guess that this might have been the place that he cooked his meth earlier in the show. That's my guess. Heisenberg might be the name of that place. Maybe it's the name of the meth. I don't know. Same as something.
In any case, we then get a brief flashback, and you wouldn't know this per se, but that was a clip from episode 1 that we saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I knew it was a clip from an earlier episode. I could tell, but clip from episode 1. That's
right. So do you remember like things that were different? Anything stand out about this flashback?
Well, nobody hates him. Everyone loves him.
Right.
He looks like Hal from Malcolm in the Middle.
True enough. I wonder why that is. Bryan Cranston did a very good job at making himself look like that Malcolm in the Middle character. Shapeshifter, that one.
I'm looking at the flashback again. His wife is there by his side. In fact, everyone's by his side. He's probably celebrating his birthday or something right here. And everyone... This is probably before he betrays everybody. That bald guy...
The very scene before. Like, next shot, he pulls out a gun and just starts shooting everybody. Sorry, what were you saying about the bald man?
The bald guy says, "It's easy money. You can watch us knock down Meth Lab." I don't know what that bald guy is. I don't think he appears later in this episode.
I don't know what he is. Like, no, he doesn't appear later in this episode.
Okay, he's probably dead. Walter probably is involved with him being murdered. I'm guessing. I don't know.
But context clues, the fact that he was talking about busting a meth lab, I mean, does that tell you anything about him?
He's probably a cop.
Okay.
He's a cop. He busts meth labs. He didn't bust this meth lab. I guess Walter did, but that's probably because the bald guy is dead.
Right. Walter, then, he crashes a meeting between two characters. And these characters are Lydia and Todd.
Yeah, Todd. Todd appears twice in this episode. In this scene and during the final scene.
Well, Lydia also appears in the final scene.
Oh, yeah, she does. With the phone call.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I'm already watching the last episode, so...
Well, let's get ahead of ourselves. Yeah, let's go through the recaps backwards next time. No, Lydia arranges... No, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself on the notes. So Walter offers to teach them his secret technique for making meth without using meth.
Yes.
And he's going to do this in exchange for $1 million.
$1 million?
So Lydia arranges for Walter to meet up with Jack. But right after Walter leaves, Lydia reveals to Todd that she doesn't plan to uphold her end of the bargain whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And the scene closes with a shot of Lydia pouring some stevia into her tea. So, unknown to you, Nada, stevia is just this well-known character quirk of Lydia. Every time she appears, she's putting stevia in her tea, and people are commenting about it.
Stevia sugar. Yeah.
Did you just Google stevia?
No, I guessed it because... No, I guessed it because she's pouring a sugar packet that says stevia on it into her coffee.
Right.
Or tea. I believe that Stevia... No, what's her name?
It's Stevia. Miss Stevia. Her name is Lydia.
Lydia. They're very similar. They rhyme.
No, they don't.
Lydia... Lydia wants nothing to do with Walter. This is probably the first time that he sees her in quite a while. She hates him. She wants nothing to do with him. The second she sees him, she's already, resenting him. And just wants him to go away. And, that's probably why she, also quickly gives him just, arranges the meeting with Todd so that he can...
With Jack.
With Jack. Todd. Todd's there, but...
Yeah. And, speaking of the Toddster, who is this Todd?
I thought he was a bit of a douche.
True enough.
I don't like him for some reason. He comes off... He feels like he's probably a very cowardly character. I don't know. He
definitely puts out a bad vibe, and I'd say it's kind of a smug, unassuming aura that it pisses me off.
yeah, he I don't know. I don't know how to describe him that much. Other than he just, I mean, I don't know how to describe any of them because their character development is already over with. I haven't lived through that yet.
Right. I'm not gonna say that Todd and Lydia go through too much character development, or at least Lydia, not in this show, doesn't go through too much character development.
Oh, Better Call Saul spoilers.
Oops. But Walter in the next scene is creating some sort of mechanism, and I'm worried of your impression of seeing this, that you'll take Walter to be some sort of cross between like Inspector Gadget and MacGyver. And I want to show you that Walter isn't always just like building these robots to do his bidding.
I was thinking of like a Rudberg machine, and as that gear started turning, in my head I just started hearing da 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 da, da, but it didn't get as elaborate as that.
Yeah. Oh my god, I want one of those Rube Goldberg machine videos to start, and like 2 seconds in, it just is a machine gun.
I was particularly interested in that device that he had. I didn't know what it was, but he was building something with it. Had the gun, was turning stuff, and what it turned out to be was really interesting.
Right. Before we get to that, Skyler gets a phone call from someone, and this woman warns her that Walter has been by their old neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And Skyler, by the way, I want to remark that she's smoking a cigarette in this scene. But after Skyler hangs up, Walter is revealed to be standing in her kitchen, and the two of them finally get some closure. So, who is Skyler, and how does she know Walter?
Skyler is Walter's wife, and this was a very particular, the meeting with Skyler was very different than with any of the other characters that he's met so far. And I can tell that they both have very connected relationship with each other. They both love each other very much at one point. Then Walter betrays her or something. And then both of them and now they're just kind of trying to make up. Well, not make up. No, Walter is just bringing some closure.
Yeah.
He's revealing why he did what he did, which was something.
Oh, I want to talk about that scene in particular, that part of the scene in particular, because that is just kind of the climax of Walter's whole character arc. And you wouldn't know that yet, but, one thing that he's always making excuses throughout the series, saying, I did this for the family, I did this for you, you're all ungrateful. And
he's
and this
said
scene,
that many times.
This scene leading up to, if I have to hear one more time that you did this for the family, and Walter cuts her off and says, I did it for me. I liked it. And then not a fucking this
You need to understand.
If I have to hear one more time that you did this for the family.
I did it for me. I liked it.
What's funny?
I was good at it.
I liked it. Nothing funny about it, but the way you said
This
it.
is the ultimatum of Walter White's character. Just because I guess it was a funny delivery if you don't have the full context for what he's talking about. But, play a clip of Walter just saying, I liked it.
I liked it.
He liked it. He did what he did because he liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah,
he was okay, and that tells me of just how selfish he's always been, and how he's always saying that he does it for the family, which Skyler implied he did that all the time, and he just did it for himself.
Yeah, and I want to appreciate the fact that you can watch the final episode of Breaking Bad and understand what's going on in this scene. Like, there's enough to clue you into the context. I just think it really strengthens what I consider to be one of the most important scenes in the series.
One thing I liked, there's one shot that I noticed. It was near the end when both of them are talking, and I think Walter already reveals why he did what he did. It cuts to a shot of both of them, a profile shot of both of them Walter standing next to the table and Skyler sitting down, but there's this big wood between them, this part of the wall that's just cutting both of them off. And I really love that kind of detail. Sometimes I kind of notice stuff like that.
Yeah. And there are always going to be people who say that sort of thing is unintentional, but the more you get into Breaking Bad, I think you'll realize that stuff is always intentional. Everything is a choice that are done by Vince Gilligan and his team.
That's the creator of the show. Yeah, this kind of tells me that both of them were like probably walled off, and there's just no chance for them being together or something like that. And then at the end of the scene, Walter asks Skyler if he can see his daughter.
Oh, you figured out that that's his daughter.
Yeah, it's definitely his daughter.
I was hoping that maybe you were just thinking it was some tiny person in a cage that Walter wanted to touch and maybe absorb the life energy from, but no, it was his daughter. You're right.
She looks about 1 year old or something, and I almost would think that Skyler would probably cut off Walter from his life way earlier in this, but although I guess she probably did it right before she was pregnant or something. I don't know. I like that scene though.
It's definitely a shocking move from Skyler. It says something about her character arc, the fact that she was so willing to let Walter see the baby, and it speaks to the relationship that she has with Walter at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I guess you'll learn more about that. The next scene.
I guess she probably hates him more than anybody else does.
I mean, people hate Walter pretty badly.
Yep. Definitely, especially Jesse, who at the same time probably still kind of loves him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's no clear answers on that. I think
no clear answers.
I think the clearest
this finale answered nothing.
Worst finale ever. I think that probably the best indication of how relationships are at the end is probably the scene between Walter and Skyler. It's probably the closest thing we get to understanding how these two characters are at the very end, whereas things are kind of left open with how maybe Jesse feels about him.
The scene right after that is a kid is getting off of a school bus, and he's in crutches, and he starts walking to his house. Now that I think about it, is this Walter's son?
Is this Jesse?
Is this Jesse? Well, okay. You don't have to answer that. I'll learn that. This could be Walter's son, because he seemed to look at him like a father does, and he wanted to visit his daughter, which could be the first time he's ever seen his daughter. And then he wants to see his son for one last time, but his son he doesn't even know that he's there, and Walter doesn't approach him because he hates him. If that is his son.
That Walter hates him?
No, the son hates him. I mean.
Okay. This potentially Walter Jr. character. Yeah, Walter never confronts him. He just walks away without saying or doing anything.
Yeah.
So why do you think Walter didn't say anything to him?
Probably because he hates Walter, and like everyone else does. Maybe he was scared? I don't know if he was scared, but he, maybe that character, Walter Jr., said at some point that he never wants to see Walter ever again, or something. And Walter just wants to respect that, because he knows that he's not going to see anybody else again, maybe?
Yeah, and that speaks to that Walter really does just want Walter Jr. to be happy. Just wants him to succeed, and wants what's best for him, even if it
him to have the money.
Hurts himself.
Yeah.
Then Walter pulls up into a parking lot, and is confronted by some friendly men, who let him into their warehouse.
Mm-hmm. Very friendly. I wouldn't want to be friends with them, but
yeah.
For our nice guys, once you get to know.
For our backwards only viewers, this is later revealed to be where Jesse Pinkman is being held and forced to cook.
Yeah.
But didn't necessarily know that when we got here.
Not really, no.
What can you tell me about this place?
It's... I'm guessing that Jack is, this is where Jack is introduced. Jack is... If the series had a main antagonist, Jack might be it. He probably Jack and Walter could have gone into business together, but then Jack maybe Jack betrays him, and then Jack starts his own meth lab and he gets rich from it. It's a very, very bad place, and
yeah,
a lot of people have probably died in that house.
Did you happen to catch that a lot of his men had swastikas tattooed on their necks and foreheads?
They are neo-Nazis.
Right.
They're definitely neo-Nazis, and neo-Nazis who do meth, so it's definitely a bad guy.
But Todd's also here.
They probably kill a lot of people here.
Todd is also here.
Yeah, Todd is there. I don't know if he wants to be there. I never saw any swastika tattoo on him.
He doesn't. He's a little bit friendly faced to be one of the neo-Nazis, I'd say.
Yeah.
Now Walter.
But Todd also had a bit of a different. He had a bit of a different attitude with him compared to the coffee shop scene earlier.
How so?
Like, I don't know. In the coffee shop scene, he obviously seemed to like try and make himself prim and proper, but he still had a bit of a smug attitude about him, and he still has a smug attitude here, but it seemed more upfront. He dresses differently. And he never says anything, I don't think.
In this
he never says a single word. Does he?
Yeah, he does. Oh
yeah, he tells Jack that Jesse is still cooking.
No, you're confusing the facts a little bit. Jack would of course know that Jesse is cooking because Jesse is a meth slave to Jack.
Yeah.
So what actually happens here is that Todd tells Walter that he shouldn't have come here. And immediately after, Jack's men pull a gun on Walter.
Yeah. Jack doesn't want him to die here. He doesn't want him to be shot here because his carpet will get all messy.
Right. Well, Walter is going to be killed by Jack, but he ends up stalling them by bringing up Jesse. And he says, you were supposed to kill Jesse, and instead you partnered with him. And Jack, his response to hearing that, he calls off the hit for just a moment so that he can prove that he did not partner with Jesse.
Yeah. Jack doesn't like to be wrong, to be, like, told off, I can tell. Walter probably asked Jack to kill Jesse, as I said earlier, but then Jack just decides, he can use him because Jesse made so much meth with Walter. It'll just make him his meth slave.
Right. So then, to prove that they're not partners, Jack rings his little bell, and meth slave Jesse comes out in chains, and this is the first time that Walter and Jesse see each other for the first time in a year.
Oh, really? I could tell that it's been a long time since the both of them have seen each other. If I were to completely guess, this might be the first time and only time in the entire season that they might see each other. But the two of them eye each other, and they look like they definitely hate each other, and some sort of resentment or something.
But then Walter jumps on him and pins him to the ground. And then he presses a button on his car keys, and then that machine from earlier, it's a machine gun wired to the trunk of his car that goes off and kills everybody in the room except for Todd, Walter, Jesse, and kind of Jack. It sort of leaves Jack alive.
Yeah. Jack gets wounded though, and Todd dodges every shot. Excuse me. Although Walter didn't.
Yeah, Walter catches a stray bullet, but it's because he's shielding Jesse.
Yeah, he's shielding Jesse. Walter definitely still... That kind of tells me that Walter still definitely cares about Jesse. I mean, he was his meth partner. Not meth slave, he was his meth partner. And, but I really liked that scene. That was a really creative way to, like, kill everybody. And
if you like creative ways to kill everybody, you're gonna love Breaking Bad.
Walter saves Jesse, and then Walter gives Jesse... then Walter kills Todd. I love that scene, too.
Well, okay, so what happens is that Jesse strangles Todd with his own chains.
Oh, yeah! I forgot about that part, too.
Jesse strangles Todd to death. And then Walter picks up a gun and goes to finish off Jack.
Yes.
What does Jack do?
Walter, no. Jack!
Jack.
Jack crawls up to his chair. He grabs a cigarette,
which made you laugh.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to do when you're about to, get killed. And he's very cocky. He's still cocky even when he's about to die, I can tell. And Walter... I notice Walter just doesn't even stop Jesse from killing Todd, from strangling Todd to death. He wants him dead. He wants Jack dead. He doesn't want Jesse dead, though. Right. And Jack is like... You want your money? I know where your money is. Walter doesn't care, just shoots him in the face.
Right, and it's... I mean, you could probably infer from this that Jack was hoping Walter would try to figure out what the money is and maybe prolong the death a little bit. But Walter just didn't care about the money whatsoever. And that's actually a surprising change for Walter's character.
Well, he did give away almost $10 million to that rich couple. And
well, for his children. Walter then gives the gun to Jesse, and Jesse contemplates killing Walter, which Walter encourages.
Yeah.
But
Walter wants to die at this point, and I think of anybody who could kill Walter, he'd probably most want it to be Jesse.
But Jesse can see that Walter is already dying from a bullet wound. So he drops the gun and he leaves. And Jesse's free. He laughs with joy and drives away. So that's a series wrap on Jesse.
Yeah, he's probably going to go out to call his friend Saul.
Hey, Saul, I made it!
Whoever Saul is. I don't know.
Let's go. Better Call Saul. And then it leads directly into Better Call Saul. No, there's also a moment where Lydia calls Todd And
Yeah.
Walter picks up because Todd is, of course, dead. And Walter tells her that he put ricin in her stevia.
What is that?
Stevia is a sugar. Ricin is a deadly poison that leaves no traces and is largely untreatable. So at the point Lydia finds out that she's been ricin poisoned, she knows that she's dead.
I don't remember when Walter could have done that, but I guess he
The
did.
coffee scene.
Well, obviously, but I just don't remember when he managed to switch it out. Did he? I don't remember. But so he poisons her. She's about to die. She probably dies by the end of this episode. We don't see it, but
We can
and
assume
then
that
Yeah.
she's dead.
Yeah. And then Walter walks over to the lab that Jesse, the meth slave, was just cooking in. And Walter walks around. He touches a meth pot one more time, and then he just dies. He falls down. No more Walter. Goodbye.
What do you think he was feeling or thinking during this final scene?
He was probably feeling nostalgia. He was feeling nostalgia and regrets. Maybe. That because he cooked meth for so long, and now this is what his life has ultimately come to, and now in the meth lab he dies. He used to live in the meth lab, now he dies in the meth lab.
Yeah. You say regret, and I watched this scene, and I don't think he feels any regret at all. I mean, he probably feels regret on some level, but the way the scene plays out and the music that's playing, it just seems like he feels like he looks fondly at what has happened.
Yeah, that's why I also say that he feels a bit of nostalgia. He doesn't completely regret the meth lab. It's just kind of a mix between them.
Yeah,
And
it's definitely a complex scene.
yeah,
I just, at least the question in my mind, and question that no one can answer, is would Walter do it all over again? Who knows?
that's a good question actually. I don't know if I could answer that.
You are the least qualified person to answer that.
And the police come in as the camera just pans out of Walter's corpse, and police are coming in to investigate the scene, and then cue credits.
Right, and there's also a song that's playing during this part.
What song was it again?
It's called. Hang on. That probably sounds terrible. Right, the song is called "Baby Blue" by Badfinger. But there's a lot of layers to this song. One of which is that it's called "Baby Blue." But I guess I can't really talk about that right now. I just want to note that it's called "Baby Blue." But then also
Okay.
the first lyrics of the song.
What was the first lyric again?
Allow me to look them up.
I'll look it up too. So I guess I can do that. I just realized, wasn't it blue meth that was being cooked? Didn't those two guys with the funny names, Badger and
Skinny Pete.
Skinny Pete, didn't they say that Jesse was cooking blue meth earlier?
Yes. So
And the song is called Baby Blue.
right, blue meth is the signature of Walter White's. So if anyone's cooking blue, you know that they've got Walt's secret recipe. But the very first line of the song that we hear in the episode is, "Guess I got what I deserved. Kept you waiting there too long, my love. All that time without a word. Didn't know you'd think I forgot or I'd regret. The special love I have for you, my baby blue." So, the song, I mean, obviously the artist, Badfinger, didn't intend for this to be how it's taken, but calling My Baby Blue and having these lyrics, it seems to be about Walter's relationship with making drugs in general.
Yeah. So he doesn't completely regret making drugs then.
Yeah, he definitely has a love for making meth, probably similar to the way he has a love for Jesse or he has a love for Skylar, in that there's a lot of mistakes made in that relationship, but overall he can't help but just feel that strong connection.
Yeah.
And that's the end of our episode. I mean, that's the end of the Breaking Bad episode. We can keep talking.
Yeah. That was really enjoyable, and I can't wait to see the rest of the series.
Do you have any regrets for deciding
Not really? Not really. I'm having fun now. Just watching the last episode.
Yeah.
Now I can finally see what all the fuss is about.
It's terrible.
I now see what all the fuss is about, but what's the context for it? I don't know.
Right. Why do you think Walter is cooking meth in the first place?
I have no idea. Money? Maybe he...
I liked it.
No. You know what? I have no idea. I can't say it. He probably wants the money. He's a very selfish person. He probably wants the money. There you go.
There you go. All said and done. There you have it.
I saw Breaking Bad.
That's all she wrote.
I don't know. Why do you think he's cooking meth?
Why do I think he's cooking meth? I think he's cooking meth so that he can finally get his the final human parts he has replaced with robot parts as he continues to drink oil.
Well, I guess that's it. I can't wait to see more of Walter being a selfish asshole and betraying everybody, and Jesse being a meth slave.
Right, so this is the end of our first episode, or if you're watching our show backwards, this is the finale.
I don't know why anybody would want to watch this show backwards, but I don't know.
I don't know why anyone would want to watch this show. I'll put it at that. If you want to follow more, we're going to be posting it here. Same place, same place channel.
Yeah. Unanada.youtube.com. No, that's not what it's called.
I mean, you can get custom URLs for YouTube. I don't think you went through that process.
Actually, I did.
Oh, right.
YouTube.com/channel/Unanada. Well, I don't know what the URL specifically is, but if you search for Unanada, you'll find me.
And if you like me, you can please follow me on Twitter at The Real Ryu Chan. The Real Ryu Chan. And if you see a handsome boy, that's me.
Yeah, I'm also on Twitter, but I don't use it for right now.
Right. So if you want to follow Nada more personally, you could probably go to congregate.com/accounts/Nada. And we'll of course put links in the description.
Okay, this has been Breaking Backwards Bad, Breaking Backwards. Hope you enjoyed, and go cook yourself some meth.
Yi Chow Roof Uyi Kanath.
What he said. Good night, everybody.
Mwah.